Part 3. Returned to work for the client after the gold digger was gone. First day back, I watched him fumble with his crumpled bills. He was no longer giving me large checks or holding out a wad of hundreds and just handing me several. I said, "Give me $100, we'll call it even." The recap from part 1. A trusted relationship destroyed, so I walked away. The midnight call, the gate code changed, the $100,000 ring scam exposed. Coming back and what I found. So yes, he asked me back. I agreed. The trust was rebuilt. I started working again. I would say I started working again. I was doing small things for him. No longer big scoped items because the house had been finished, I guess. But I immediately noticed that there were differences, subtle little differences. I'm talking to him on the back porch and I'm petting his little pug dog, and I noticed his dog's got ticks. I said, "Sir, your dog needs help. It's got ticks." You could tell that he was a different person. He wasn't quite in the zone anymore. He wasn't the shaker and the mover. He wasn't the kind of guy that would buy up companies and then make them lean and green. He was no longer doing that. There'd been a downturn, not just in his relationship, but also in his business. So things were a little bit different. So he called me out to his house this one time to make some emergency repairs in the walls of his home. His kids had a party, his 15-year-old kid had a party, and there's some ball holes in the wall in the hallway. So I did some quick repairs, touched up. I knew where all the touch-up paint was. I had the materials in the van. I touched up the walls. And then I found him in a patio to settle up. And I said, "Okay, let's settle up." He pulls out a wad of bills. And this time it's not $100 bills. It's 20s, 5s, and 1s. And some of them are a little bit crumpled. So I said, "I can see what's going on here." I said to myself, "How about we just call it even with you giving me $100? And he was good with that. So what happened after that? He was putting his house on the market, so I was doing the emergency wall repairs. He had decided that, well, let's just say that he decided that he was tired of the rat race. He wanted to get out. He was selling his big place in Rancho Santa Fe, and he was planning on moving to a small condo in Las Vegas. So he was leaving it. He wasn't a broken man, but he wasn't the man I initially worked for. This woman didn't break him, but I'm sure she didn't help him. You know, the gold digger from the previous stories. So he sells his big Rancho Santa Fe home. He's severely downsizing. He's moved to the biggest condo. He's invited myself and my wife out to visit him anytime. Love to have us. She may not have been the direct cause, but I'm sure she accelerated. In fact, I know she didn't help. I wonder what she's doing now. I'm not naming names because, for all I know, she could have really loved him. You don't know this, but that person I was working for down the street when I called to try to collect money, she told me all about this woman. She knew him from her. She knew her from her hanging around the golf club courses in the ranch, in the Covenant, and there were other men that she had burned through. So anyway, she did have a history. She had a reputation. So here's the lesson. Success isn't permanent. I've had several clients that have aged and downsized or lost excessive amounts of money and were forced to downsize. People's circumstances, they change. Wealthy clients can lose everything. Economic downturns, they do happen. Tell me about that. Business failures happen. Gold diggers accelerate the problems. But sometimes it's just life. Sometimes life can just kick you in the ass. But how you treat people when they're down matters more than when they're up. I could have demanded a full payment. I could have itemized my bill and said, "You owe me such and such." But I decided to show grace because of what grace he'd shown me through the years. Because trust does work both ways. Compassion costs nothing. Relationships, they outlast transactions. So I still think about him sometimes, and yes, I wonder how he's doing in Vegas. I hope he's found peace. I'm glad I could help him when he needed it. This was, after all, a many years relationship. I mean, it wasn't 30 like some of my clients, but still, it was probably 15 years. Those were some good years. I remember when he was buying all those rugs, $104,000 worth of Persian rugs, and one of them was from the, what was that guy? Saddam Hussein's palace, one of his many palaces. One of them had a certificate on it saying that it was from one of the palaces. Anyway, I remember when he had that invoice, this small scratched out invoice, a little piece of junk van shows up, and it's full of a whole bunch of Persian rugs. And I'm thinking, man, yeah, it's a $6,000 van, whatever. It's got over maybe $500,000 worth of rugs in there. Perspective. Anyway, at this point, I was trying to trade up from a gas hog Ford van that got about 7 miles to the gallon to a diesel. And I had one picked out, but I'm saying, I only needed $4,000. He's spending $104,000 on some accoutrements, on some, what would you call it, doodads, some rugs. So it's all relative. So now you've had it, the complete Gold Digger Saga. 3 parts, 1 relationship, 15 plus years. So if you value relationships over transactions, it's MrFixer.com. MrPhixer.com. And I'll see you on the next one.